Things like dripping in lard because they are high in saturated fat. Too much red or processed meats like bacon and sausages should be avoided as well. Jimmy Dean really ain't so lean. Peace to the kings, queens, and everything in between. Before we get started, today's video is brought to you by Vato Elements, your #1 source for premium stock footage, high-resolution photos, music, sound effects, and templates to assist with your content creation journey. Help support the channel by using the link in the description to get your unlimited downloads today. Today, I'd like to talk to you about intermittent fasting for weight loss. How intermittent fasting works in practice, side effects, what you can eat, and foods that you should try to avoid as well. So, what is intermittent fasting? To keep things simple and plain, intermittent fasting involves cycling between 2 periods of fasting and eating. There are 2 main methods of executing this process. These 2 methods are the 5-2 method and the 16-8 method. When you fast, you use up stored energy by burning off excess body fat, and this results in weight loss. When we eat, we usually take in more energy that can be used by the body. During this time, the hormone insulin is produced to break down carbohydrates into glucose. After this happens, glucose can be used by the cells for energy, or it can be stored in the liver or muscle as glycogen. When our bodies require a quick or immediate source of energy, or the body is not getting any glucose from food, the glycogen is released from the liver, broken down into glucose, and sent into the bloodstream. There is, however, limited storage space for glycogen, and once that storage is full, the liver will turn the excess glucose into fat. Now, some of this fat will be stored in the liver. The rest will be exported to other fat deposits of the body. When you are fasting, your insulin levels will fall, and this will signal your body to start burning stored energy. One of these stored energy sources will be the glycogen in the liver. The body will use this source first because it is the most accessible. Once this glycogen is used up, the body will begin to break down fat in order to get the energy that it needs to function properly. If we start burning these stores of energy, such as glycogen and fat, then in theory, we should lose weight. Now that the science and what happened inside the body is behind us, let's talk about the different methods of fasting. As stated previously, the 2 most well-known methods of intermittent fasting are the 5-2 and 16-8 methods. Within the 5-2 model of intermittent fasting, this is where you will eat for a 5-day week and then eat only around 500 to 600 calories each of the remaining 2 days. The second option, being the 16-8 method, is simply time-restricted eating. You spend longer periods of the day when you don't eat, which would be 16 hours consecutive, then allowing yourself to have an 8-hour eating window when you consume your meals. This is normally repeated daily or almost daily if possible. Intermittent fasting can assist you in losing body fat, as this process works out to about an average of 25% calorie deficit over the course of 7 days. With that being established, you will still need to be very mindful of the types of food that you consume during this time, because if you overeat or if you consume high calorie foods, you will not be able to produce the weight reduction that you desire to achieve. Now that we have covered the science of intermittent fasting, as well as the two most popular methods of intermittent fasting, let's talk about the 5 different foods you should consider if you intend to start the cycle of intermittent fasting. I am also going to suggest 5 different food groups that you should try to avoid also. For the days and time periods that you are not fasting, you are going to want to try to keep your diet aligned with general health eating recommendations. To help you with that, here are key food groups that you may want to consider. The first food group would be whole grains. These are your starchy carbohydrates, and they will provide a slow release of glucose into the bloodstream. They are also a very important source of fiber, vitamins, and minerals. Examples include oats, whole grain bread, whole grain pasta, and brown rice. Your second food group would be lean meats and fish. These are very important because they are packed full of protein. And protein is essential for growth and repair of muscles and tissues, especially if you are involved in some type of weight training program. Examples of this include skinless chicken, low-fat turkey, and white fish like cod, which are lean sources of protein. Oily fish like salmon, sardines, tuna, and mackerel are full of omega-3 fatty acids. These are important for brain and heart health. The third food group to consider would be your dairy. Dairy products contain a rich source of calcium, which is important for bone health. You should try to use and look for low-fat varieties of dairy products, things like skim milk and low-fat Greek yogurt. I must admit, yogurt has become one of my favorite snacks. I really didn't think I would like it initially. The fourth food group would be your fruits and your vegetables. These provide us with an important source of vitamins, minerals, and fiber. The fifth and final group will be your lentils, beans, and pulses. They are very low in fat and are a great source of protein, fiber, vitamins, and minerals. Those are the 5 food groups that you should try to incorporate into your intermittent fasting journey. Now, of course, it's time to go ahead and address the alternative, right? Because we all know everyone loves to be told what not to eat. You should try and avoid refined or highly processed carbohydrates. These foods cause an immediate spike in your blood glucose levels. Examples are white flour, white bread, white rice, white pasta, and most breakfast cereals. They are usually loaded with unrefined sugars. Speaking of the devil, sugars are not your friend, and you should really try to avoid them at all costs. Things like table sugar and maple syrup, but also foods that contain added sugars, sugary drinks, sweets, chocolates, ice creams, and biscuits. Another food group to try to avoid are complex animal fat. Things like dripping and lard because they are high in saturated fat. Too much red or processed meats like bacon and sausages should be avoided as well. Jimmy Dean really ain't so lean. Stick to just lean meats or try and remove any visible fat if possible. Last but not least is highly processed foods overall. These foods usually have been altered in some way, shape, or form during its preparation. Examples include cakes, pastries, and biscuits, as well as pies and convenience foods. These tend to be very high in calories due to the amounts of saturated fats and sugars. In closing, I must inform you of the possible side effects of intermittent fasting as well. These side effects may not occur to you, but it is always good to be informed about the possibilities. Some people may experience headaches and constipation, but the risk can be minimized by making sure that you are consuming plenty of fluids on your fasting days, as well as eating plenty of vegetables and fruit. Again, as I always say, you should definitely try and consult with your primary care physician and consider your own personal health and medical conditions before you decide to make a drastic change in your diet or daily routines. By doing this, it will help you understand that if this diet choice is sustainable and suitable for you. As always, till next time, peace. Peace and blessings to you. Thank you for viewing this content. Hopefully something here helps you along the way. Feel free to leave any comments or recommendations for future videos. Also, take advantage of the link in the description and schedule your fitness program consultation today. Let's take action today. Tomorrow, it'll just be another step behind. Peace.